Hi guys, Melissa here at TCT Crafts. Today we are going to do a Mardi Gras swag. So we are going to start by using this 10-inch Mardi Gras tinsel mesh. So we're just going to be using one roll. And so I wanted to, in case you're new here, show you how I cut my mesh. If this is not your first time watching, feel free to fast forward. But I just brought my mesh to the floor, I hold it up to about my chin and cut it around my belly button area. So I do not measure. You could lay it out, you could use your rotary cutter, you could cut it. This is about 22 inches, okay? But again, I don't measure them. And then I'm just gonna chunk them over here in a basket just to get them out of my way. Okay, so I'm just going to hold them up and I'm just going to cut straight across. I don't think I have a rotary cutter here. Yes, I do. So if you were new and you wanted to measure and you did not feel comfortable with dropping and just cutting, you could lay it on your cutting mat, take your rotary cutter, okay, go out to 22 inches, and just cut. So either way, because I typically am going to be using my artificial pine bases and not the pre-made wire forms, I don't worry about my mesh being exactly the same sizes. It's more there for filler and to help create my base than anything. I'm not making a mesh only wreath. If you're making a mesh wreath with just maybe some ribbon tails and a bow, but where the mesh was more of the focal point, then you might want to be a little bit more conscious of cutting them the same size and having them nice and nice ruffles. But I'm not doing that, so I'm not worried about it. Personal preference, okay? I'm not going to save this. Well, we'll save it, I guess. Maybe there's a little spot, but that's a little tiny piece, so I don't know if we can get anything out of it. Save these rolls. I save them. I use them for different craft projects, but you can also use them when you're shipping your wreaths. Put them in the corners, and that helps from your box getting smashed. So I held on to my mesh rolls. Okay. So I'm going to start with just a swag base. This is just a normal pine swag base. It's not one of the nice ones that has all the nice pines in it. It is a 24-inch, just plain Jane base. Okay, I'm going to take two. It has a little hook, but it's a tiny little hook. So I'm just going to take two of the pines and make my own hook. Just going to wrap them around. And you can reinforce this with, you know, something else if you want, but just created my own little hook there. And I'm just going to kind of fan these out. And then we'll start adding our mesh. Now, I'm not worried about the mesh filling this whole swag up, and I'll show you why. Because we're going to be putting another swag base on top of this. Okay, so I just kind of fanned it out. But we are going to also be putting this Mardi Gras little swag base. Once we get our mesh on, we're going to be putting that in here, and that's going to add a lot of coverage, right? So that's why I'm only worried about doing one roll of mesh. We'll get it around here on the outsides, and we'll add that on top. So let me show you from this view first, and then I'll put the camera down. But this is how I roll my mesh. I just hold it up to my chest, I roll the ends in, and then just kind of scrunch it together. Okay, then I'm just going to get two ties and tie them in tightly. Okay, we'll do a couple more. So I hold it up, roll it, scrunch it in. And that rolling the ends in just keeps it from fraying as much. You know, mesh is going to fray, but when you roll those ends in, it helps it from fraying quite as much. Now, if you did not feel comfortable or you have a hard time rolling it up, you can also do it on your table. So just roll your ends a couple times. You can scrunch, use your fingers to scrunch, roll these ends, and you've got a ruffle. So, however you want to roll it up is perfectly fine. Okay, I'm going around the outside. I'm not worried too much about that center. Remember, we're going to have that other swag sitting right on top of it. So this is just to kind of fill in the sides a little bit. I'm pushing that right up against that spine. And when I talk about the spine, just this part right here, I'm pushing it right up against there. I'm sticking on my shirt. And then I'm twisting those pine branches around there. Nice and tight. We don't want our mesh flopping everywhere. Okay? So just going to go around this side. We'll start going up on this one, and then we'll be done with this part. This is the boring part. Feel free to fast forward. That's why I like the winter designs, because I very rarely use mesh at the holidays. You know, we can have all the pines and all the pine sprays, and you don't have to worry about the mesh. And that's my favorite. The more I design, the less I like mesh, to be honest with you. I tend to like the designs without the mesh, but during the spring and summer months, we have to use it sometimes just to give us some fullness and to kind of cover up some of the pines. So, a couple more pieces. I think I got three more pieces in there. Okay, remember we're going to lay that on the top. That other swag on the top. And you could, if you didn't want to do, if you did not want to do this, I mean, you can just use that other swag base for design. It's just not going to be as full. It's a little thinner. Just because it's those tinsels. It's not pine, it's like a tinsel. I guess that's how you would describe it. Okay, now I'm going to come right up here. And I think I just dropped my scissors on the floor. Or my cutters. Let me see what I dropped on the floor. Oh, just my phone case. I'm not worried about that. Okay. So we've got our mesh in. Now let's get our swag base. And this is, does it say the size? It does not. Probably has it on the website, but without it fluffed, it is about 21 inches. If you add the hanger, it's about 23 inches. So this is another hanger. We have two. If you didn't want to use this one that we created, or we can actually kind of maybe untie this one and just use this one. Now, think I'm just going to fold this down and not use that hanger. Okay, so I'm going to start fanning these out. I'm going to get it down right down the center. So I'm just kind of pushing that mesh out a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to take a couple of these pine ties and tie it around this, tie it around here. You could also zip tie it. I got right here at the bottom. We'll add some glue in a minute. So let me find another pine branch right here. I'm just tying this to that. And let's get one up at the top. So I'm going to go through this hook that we bent over. There we go. Okay, so that is nice and in there. And I did not have my glue gun on. Oh, poo-poo. Okay. Well, we'll wait. Well, we'll come back and glue those in. We'll make our bow while we're waiting on my glue gun to... Thought I had it on. Guess I did not. Okay. And I just realized I forgot to put the camera down for putting the mesh in. But hopefully you were able to see okay. So here is what we have so far. We just created our base. And I think I need to move my hanger. Maybe not. Yes. I think I want to move my hanger to these two pines. So I'm just going to undo these. Let me look. Yes, I'm going to do it on these two. It's more centered. The other one was slightly off center. Okay, so I just fixed my hanger just so it's more centered in the back of that wreath. And if we need to clip these down, if they're too long after we get everything added, we can just give them a haircut. Okay, so let's do our bow. So, and then we'll come back and glue those in after my glue gun is hot. So I know I want big, juicy bow right up in. Let me see, we're going to add this sign, this little music note sign, but I think it's going to go more right in here. So yes, we'll put our bow up there. So let's add, I think I want a shorter tail here. Let me see if that's a good loop size, and it is. So this is a little thinner. It's like a thinner tinsel ribbon. Okay. I'm going to make sure my loops are the same size, and they are. All right, let me get a little, what do I have? I only have blue. Maybe I can just tie it in with one of these tinsels. So I'm just going to set that in there and tie that bow off with the we're still going to add some different ribbons in here. This is just my thick 4-inch. I only have a little bit of this left. I'm going to set this to the side until we get our little music note in, so I can see how I want to do my tails on this, if I want to drape it down or if I want to just do a tail. So I'm just going to let that hang out. just going to hang out over there. Okay, I know we'll cut that down. So I'm not going to dovetail this. I'm just going to cut it straight. And then I'll just kind of fold it in a little bit. There we go. Okay, let's put you guys down so you guys can see a little bit better of what I'm doing with the bow here. Okay, so we've got our big loops in. Let's add some smaller loops. So I brought in a couple different ones. Kind of like this one. Let's see if we have enough. Okay, so let's just pinch. I'm going to make a loop. Going to twist. Make another loop. I'm going to make sure they're the same size, and they are. Okay, let's just leave it at 2 because I am out of that ribbon. So in case we leave our tails long on this side. So I'm just going to undo this. And if you're good at hand bows, you could do this all at once. I'm not, so I'm going to do this in layers. I'm just going to push this down in there. Okay, we'll fix our tails and all that later. I think I'm going to add, let's go in with our solid purple. Mardi Gras is usually over the top and just fun and whimsical. So we're going to make a nice big juicy bow here. Okay, I'm going to go in with a little bit smaller of a loop. Twist. Make sure my loops are about the same size. This one needs to come up a little. And again, I'm just going to open this up, set this down in there. Twist that off. Okay, so we'll fix our tails and stuff in a minute. Let's get our music note in here so I can see how I want these tails. If I want to keep them long or cut them. So this has a little, like a little hook, because you could use it and hang it like for wall art too. So it has a little hook there. Let me take my tags off. Save this so that I can do the supply list for you guys. So I'm going to take a, let's see, I'm either going to take a pipe cleaner or I'm just going to run one of these tinsels through here. I may just run through one of these tinsels through here. Yes. Okay, so I'm running that tinsel through there. And then I think I'm going to run one, just going to tie it around like that, around the bottom of that. We're going to have stuff coming out. You're not going to see, you know, by the time we get all of our sprays and stuff, you're not going to really pay attention to that being right there. So let's see if my glue gun is, yes. And let's go ahead and glue this where we tied that in before. I'm going to glue this where we tied the music note in. I'm going to add a little bit of glue, but this is metal, so the glue's not going to stick very well. That's why I wanted to make sure it was tied in. now let's check our ribbon tails here. See what we want to do. So we can just cut them. But I think I want to kind of loop them on the side here is kind of what I'm thinking. Okay, so I kind of like that. So let's cut. Let's leave this one long. Can roll it up a little bit. Okay, let's cut our purple. I'm going to dovetail it. And then we'll dovetail this one a little shorter. Okay, so we've got over there. Now on this side, we don't have any more of this ribbon, so that'll be it for that, but we still have some of this, a little bit of this we can put on the side over here, and we have some of our regular purple. So let's just add a tail maybe right in here. I'm not going to tie that off yet because we'll add some of our purple, and then we'll leave this a little longer, just a little bit. And then just kind of roll it up under there. I'm going to pull it just a hair. So let's get a little piece of our purple. I'm going to give it a dovetail. So I just fold it, and then cut at a diagonal, and that will give you a dovetail, okay? So I don't measure my tails, I just kind of see where I want it. So I'm taking 2 of these tinsel ties and just twisting around. We'll add some glue in there in a second. Okay, let me take and cut this off and then give it a dovetail. Okay, so we've got our tails, and we only have this little piece here left of this ribbon. Let's see if we maybe want to add it up at the top or the bottom. Let's see. I think let's add it right down here. So I'm just going to take it, I'm just pinching it right there. And I'm just going to find two ties and twist it around. Okay, we could add a little bow here. Let's see. Or maybe we just do a loopy bow. Let me see if I want a bow or a loopy bow. I think a loopy bow. Okay, so I am going to, we'll do 2 loops like bunny loops. So I'm gonna face it this way. Okay, so I have a loop, and then I'm just gonna pull this and come back up and make another loop. And I'm gonna pinch these 2 together right here, like that. I'm gonna twist this so that it's facing forward and we've got our tails. Let me go ahead and I'm gonna cut this one a little longer. And let's open this a little bit and add right in there. There we go. I like that. Okay, now let's add some glue. Just to make sure our little twisty ties do not come undone. My glue gun is not wanting to cooperate today. I don't know why. It's coming out, but just very tiny. let's go ahead and dovetail these. So again, I'm just folding it, putting it at an angle. Now this one we can go ahead and cut down a little shorter. Again, oh, I already dovetailed that one. All right. So we got all kinds of fun happening here. And we still have a little bit of the purple. Let me see if I want to add maybe right over on here. We could do a purple tail. Maybe right up in here. And then maybe up at the top. Okay, so just add a little tail there. And maybe right up here at the top we can add a tail. We just have this, let's try to finish it up. We just have this little strip left. That's not enough to save for another project. So let's go right up in here and twist. Go ahead and do my dovetail. And I know you guys are probably out of camera range. I'll show you guys in just a second. With these swag designs, it's hard to keep you guys, let me move my soda. It's hard to keep you guys in full view. Okay, so I just added that little tail right there. Okay, and that's it. We're done with our ribbon. So now let's add, I brought in a couple ornaments. So we have these cute little Mardi Gras ornaments. So let me cut the tag off. I figure we could add a few of these. And get the string out of there. There we go. Okay, so let's see where we want to add these. I'm thinking maybe right up here under the bow. Right up there. Or maybe more to the side so we don't cover up our sign. Yeah, let's go more to the side. So I'm just going to, let's see, you can run your tinsel through your ornament and twist it. And then I'm going to add some glue. Hopefully my glue is going to come out this time. Do not know how that's hot. Hot. All right. So it's wanting to be a pill today. It's not wanting to come out very good. I think my this other glue stick is jammed in there. Let's try it this way. There we go. I'm gonna glue the ribbon to it right there. Okay, let's add some glue under this side over here. Just push it down. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry for a second before I mess with it anymore. Okay, let's get another one. So I have one over here. I think we need one maybe right here. Okay, right next to our little loopy loops. I think that looks good. So again, I'm going to just run this tinsel right through that ornament hook. I'm going to twist it, and then I'm going to use glue and just glue it in. It's going to be hitting those tinsels, hitting all that mesh. And it should not go anywhere. Okay, I'm going to hold that for just a second. Just to make sure it's in there good. I have one more that I brought, and maybe we add it up underneath our tails back here in the back. Okay, so let's add this one right up underneath our bow. That's going to kind of give our bow some lift a little bit. So again, I'm running this through. I'm going to twist it. And then I'm going to glue it. My glue is being a pill again. What is going on with this glue today? Okay, I got my glue gun fixed, I think, for the moment anyway. So I'm just adding glue all the way around that ornament ball. Very generous with the glue. And the glue strings. Glue strings are free of charge. Okay. Now I brought in a couple other purple ornaments, but let's break up a little bit of all this purple with some sprays, and then we'll use those ornaments to kind of fill in at the end. I know I'm going to want one right here, so let's just go ahead and do that one, because I want to cover up that spot where we, see, I want to cover the spot where we tied this in, so I want to cover that up. See which ornament we want to use. Got the glitter. Ooh, I kind of like the glittery one. Okay, so I'm just going to add glue on this one. I'm not going to worry about tying it in. It's going to be sticking nice to those ribbons. And that mesh right there. Okay, so I'm going to hold it there for just a second. Okay, while that's drying, let's cut up our sprays. So I brought in 2 sprays to break up some of all of this purple. So we got our gold sprays and our green sprays. So I just brought in some gold leaf sprays and our green honey locust sprays to kind of bring in some of that green. When you guys see the green after Christmas, make sure you pick it up. Same thing with the purple ornaments, purple sprays, things like that, because you can use them for Mardi Gras. You can use the green for St. Patrick's Day, Easter. So we're going to pull this in for this design, bring out a little bit of that green. So I'm just going to cut these up. I only brought 2 of each. Actually, I think the gold I only have like 1.5 because I just put one from a leftover piece. So we're just going to make it work. Let's start with the green. And this will help break up some of all of that purple. Let's leave this one a little bit long in case we need it for the top. Okay, so I'm going to start right here, kind of behind the bow, to get a good placement, and then I'll put some glue on there. So I think that'll be good, just right here behind the bow. Dipping it in my glue. Okay, and I'm going to take and just wrap this pine around it a little bit. Just extra security. It's not going to go anywhere. Oh, we still need to fix our tails up here too. Let me do that before I forget. Okay, so let's dovetail We'll leave it a little long. These have a nice curl to the ribbon. Okay. And that one we just folded under, so we're good there. Okay. So let's go around. We only have 2 of these, so we're going to be kind of conscious where we put them. And I can already tell you, I'm probably going to give these 2 little pine things right here a trim, but we'll leave it for now. So go in maybe right there. I'm going to pull 2 of the leaves off just to give me a little bit more of the stem to add glue to. Let's go in. I'm going to make sure I'm touching this pine right there with that glue. Okay, let's see how many pieces we have. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So let's get one on this side. So we've got center of the bow. We're going to go right and left, and then we'll have the rest of it. So this will kind of give me an idea of how many I can have for each side and bottom. So I'm going to go in right here, make sure I'm hitting that. Give it a little bit more glue in there. There we go. So we'll have 4, 1 for the bottom. Okay. We will, so I'm going to go right in here. We have some of the pine showing, so we're just going to kind of cover that up. And I'm not worried about covering the whole, all of the pine. Mardi Gras is still in a winter month, so it's okay to have some of the pine showing. It doesn't have to be completely hidden. So just tucking this piece in, making sure I get a good piece of that. And we can just twist a little bit of the pine around it. Make sure it's in there good. Okay. Let's go right up underneath here. I'm going to go, there's some pine right here. I'm just going to go down there. And then let's do a piece right down at the bottom here. Okay, and then let's start going around on this side. I'm going to go right in here. Let's go up into this area where we have all that pine showing. Okay, I'm going to hit that with a little bit more glue in there. Let's go right up in here. Now we're back to that piece. So let me see where I want to put this piece. Thinking maybe right up under here, under that bow. Okay. Let me get that a little bit more glue on that one. I also have this. This is just something I had left over from last year. Fun little green spray. Let me see if I want to use this anywhere. Kind of wondering about in the center of our bow. That might be kind of fun coming out of the bow like that. Let me trim it down just so I can place it in there a little bit better. So I think I like that. It just kind of enhances that bow a little bit. So let's put that down in there. I'm going to dip it in my glue. Okay. And I'm just going to add a dab of glue down in here. Yeah, that's fun. Kind of adds to our bow there. Okay, now let's add our glitter sprays. I'm going to go ahead and cut these 2 pine ones down because I can already tell we don't need them that long. Just give them a haircut. Okay, so let's cut up our gold sprays, and then we have 2 purple ornament balls if we want to add them, and we're going to be done. So I have 1.5. This was just left over from our project. So we're just gonna use what we have here. Bring in a little bit of the gold. Again, it's just breaking up some of that purple, so we're not so heavy on the purple. Bring in a little bit of the gold and the green. All the fun, pretty colors for Mardi Gras. Okay, so I'm just going to cut these up. And you get quite a bit out of this spray. You get more out of this spray than you do the honey locust spray. If I'd have had the green in this one, I would have used the green, but we only have the green in the honey locust, so. Okay, so let's go in up at the top with one of these longer ones. And go right up underneath that bow. A little off-centered from the green. Let's find another long piece. And I'm going to go in between. So in between these 2 greens up here. So let me see, we had a green here. We have a green here. I just went in between with that gold. So we're just going to go around and do that. We're just going to kind of go in between our green pieces. Now we don't have too many of these, so we'll be conscious of that. After I get this one in, we'll kind of count so I can make sure. So I'm going to go right in between here. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I was just kind of moving these. They're longer pieces. These are shorter pieces. So I know I'm going to want these at the bottom. Okay. So I'm going to go in between these 2 greens right here. Right in between those. Let's go in between these greens right there. And that'll kind of cover up that a little bit. And I need to add some more glue on this green one and this one because that did not stay. I think I pulled it before it set. Let me get a little bit more glue on this green one in here. There we go. Now I'm not going to touch it. Let that set up. Now I think I'm going to come in with it just a little bit and hit it right in there. So still in between the greens, but just a little further in. We have a little piece of pine right there showing. And so we'll just kind of fill that in a little bit. And again, you can take your pine and wrap it around there if you want, just to kind of make sure it's in there good. Okay, now I'm going to take some of my longer pieces down, now that we're down towards the bottom. Again, I'm going to take and remove 2 of these. Now you can keep these if you want because we can tuck them in if we need to. Let's go in between. Go in between right here. And if I can get a good spot. I think I need to make it a little in there a little bit more. Sometimes it wants to be difficult because it wants to hit that mesh. So I'm going to push that up. I'm going to wrap my pine around here. Okay, and then I'll add some glue. Okay. And now let's go in between these greens right here. I'm going to wrap this stem around there. Add some more glue. Okay. Now we'll go in between these two greens. Yeah, that was hot. Hot, hot, hot. Be careful. Don't do what I just did. Okay, go in between those two greens. I'm going to add a little bit more glue to that in there. Okay, and we'll add our last piece in between right up in here. So we probably could have used like one more piece right in here. So what we can do is just take these little pieces that I said don't throw them away, because we can just add some glue onto them and just kind of put them in here and make our own little spray around there to give it a little bit more of the gold. So I just added a couple of those. We can add maybe even one more to give it a little bit more of the gold up here. Okay. And we could do the same down here if we wanted. I think that's going to be kind of tucked in a little too far. So we'll just leave it. Okay, we've got two more of the purple ornaments. So let's see where we want to add those. I'm kind of thinking one right in here, right next to our music note. Kind of where those ribbon tails were tied in there. So I'm just going to hold that there. You guys probably hear my dog whining. I think he got left inside and my husband went outside probably with the other big dog, and now he's whining because he's not outside. And I can't let him out just yet. So he's not happy. Okay, there's a spot right here in our music note that some of that regular green pine was showing. So I'm just going to pull some of these tinsels up, just like it's kind of coming in out of that music note. This one I'm going to tuck around and through the top. There we go. That way we're not seeing like a hole there. It's like it's coming up out of that little note. Okay, I like that better. Okay, let's see where we want to add our last ornament. So we could do right down here. I kind of like that, right in the middle of our little loopy loops. So that's an option, or we could just kind of leave the loops and go more towards the top of here. I'm almost leaning in this direction just to kind of give some support right back there. Fill in that little void, that little hole. So we're just going to go right up in there with that one. Now I could go back and get another option if you'd liked having that little ornament there. Just get you another ornament and stick right here. I'm going to hang it up. I don't think we need it. We've got our cute little loops. And we've got the 3 balls kind of around it in our triangle pattern. So I think we're good. So let me flip you guys back. And this is what we created today. This pretty fun Mardi Gras swag. I hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time. Bye, y'all.